Good morning. Welcome to Unity Longmont Spiritual Center on September 19th, 2021. We are blessed today to have Jenny Hooks as our speaker and to lead us in meditation, and Teresa Storch to provide us with music. So we'll start with a piece of music from Teresa, please.
Good morning. It's been so beautiful. I've thought about this Tom Petty song I used to play, and I pulled it back out. So you might know it. It's a happy song. You belong among the wildflowers. You belong in a boat out at sea. Sail away, kill off the hours. You belong somewhere you feel free. Run away and find you a lover. Run away somewhere all bright and new. 'Cause I have seen no other who compares with you. 'Cause you belong among the wildflowers. You belong in a boat out at sea. You belong with your love on your arm. You belong somewhere you feel free. Run away and go find a lover. Run away, let your heart be your guide. 'Cause you deserve the deepest of cover. You belong in that home by and by. 'Cause you belong among the wildflowers. You belong somewhere close to me, far away from your troubles and worries. You belong somewhere you feel free. 'Cause you belong somewhere you feel free.
Thank you, Teresa. So at this time, we go into prayer by taking a breath together. Beloved presence, we join here in community, a place where we each belong, where we are each free to be fully who we are as a divine and human being, a place where we see each other, and we recognize that each and every one of us is made of love, divine love, love in its tiniest particle, love in its whole self. And for that, we are extremely grateful. And so it is. We'll have another piece of music, please.
May the long time sun shine upon you.
Thank you, Teresa, for that musical prayer. And let us welcome Jenny Hooks for her talk and meditation.
Jai Guru Dev, I honor the divine within each of you. So for the past little while, thinking of this talk coming up, every time I would read something or see something in meditation that spoke to me, I just put it down and I came up with a list. And so this is what I started with. When the whole world is running towards a cliff, he who is running in the opposite direction appears to have lost his mind. C.S. Lewis. If your mind is saturated with negativity, that is what you will receive. If your mind is saturated with the love of God, that is what you will receive. Paramahamsa Sri Swami Vishwananda. The world is a dream place, and we are all dreaming here. This life is not real. You are laughing and crying in the greatest delusion, and it's not worth shedding tears over. To give reality to our earth experience is to invite untold misery. By identification of our consciousness with the world, we see it as a place of suffering. What is going to free us from suffering? Will money do so? Nothing material can. Knowledge of God and realization that we are forever one with him is the only way to freedom. Paramahamsa Yogananda. You came to earth to accomplish a divine mission, to be reunited with God. Realize how tremendously important that is. Do not allow the narrow ego to obstruct your attainment of this infinite goal. Paramahamsa Yogananda. And from St. Padre Pio, the root of all evil is I, me, and mine. And a blessing I received on a holy day of Lord Ganesha. May Lord Ganesha give you a rainbow for every storm, a smile for every tear, a promise for every care, and an answer to every prayer. Now, this is a beautiful blessing and funny because I have these Just Love cards. So I read the blessing and I draw a Just Love card. And this card says, God is always answering the questions of people, answering the prayers of people. But does one really listen? How can one listen when the mind is so busy and always focused on the outside world? To which I looked up at the sky and said, you are cheeky. Putting those two little messages together. An old saying recently mentioned in a conversation with my son, Krishna Priya. The same water that boils the egg softens the potato. I saw the angel in the carving and I carved until I set him free. Michelangelo. Author unknown. It is impossible, said pride. It is risky, said experience. It is pointless, said reason. Give it a try, whispered the heart. From the Srimad Bhagavatam. Simply by chanting your holy name, one can surpass all obstacles. When the tree grows, there are many challenges along the way. Many winds and storms will come, and the same happens on your spiritual path. Be rooted so that nothing can move you. That was Paramahamsa Sri Swami Vishwananda. And one last one from Michelangelo. Every block of stone has a statue inside, and it is the task of the sculptor to discover it. So I have found my place in the last few weeks with my mind spinning around, my meditation less focused, feeling less grounded, not wanting to go into the cave of my heart, but rather to go in the cave of my basement and watch TV or videos and shut out the world. But what is my duty? I read earlier that I came to the earth for a divine mission, to be reunited with God. And while I'm sure that God is in my basement watching a movie with me, I don't think it generally moves me to a higher spiritual plane. Occasionally there's a good movie on that brings me in the right direction, but not always. So our duty is to love and surrender to the will of God. Our mission is to be reunited with God. And how can we find God in ourselves and in those around us if we cannot stop and accept all that is? Despite my spiritual practice, I often look out at the world and judge it. I point my finger, either literally or figuratively, and judge how others are responding to the pandemic and how they are mitigating or spreading the virus. I behave as if I have all the answers to make the world a better place in my hip pocket. And if you would all pay attention and do exactly as I say, we could move beyond this pandemic. I falsely believe that if everyone did as I say, the world would be less harsh, COVID-19 cases would decline, and the environment would be cleaner. And on and on and on my mind goes. So it's my duty to love and serve God. And what is God's duty? God's duty is to challenge me. His role is to transform us so that we can move forward on the spiritual path. When God challenges us, 2020, 2021, our lives are difficult. And why is it so hard? Because it takes a lot of challenges for us to allow our ego to be transformed and to realize our true selves. God gives us the right medicine at the right time, at the right dose to raise our consciousness. And the water that is boiling the egg and softening the potato is the same medicine, but it serves each of us differently. And it serves us with exactly what we need to surrender our ego, to surrender our attachments to our body, to the world, to money, to safety and security and all the things we need, when in fact, all we need is to trust in God and take shelter at the feet of the Lord. So if we don't like the treatment a world of COVID and pollution and forest fires and on, then the only way to get ourselves out of the mess is to accept it completely and to trust that it is God's will and to focus on our spiritual path rather than focusing on the outside world. And I realize that I contribute to making the world a better place by going into the silence of my heart and listening. As I heal, I erase my awareness and move forward on the spiritual path. Then through me and others devoted to a spiritual path, God's light shines around me. I may have no idea that light is shining through me when I walk through King Supers. But I trust that if I do my meditation and I am at peace and the light of God is shining through me, that that light may affect someone else. We live in a world that seems complicated, polarized, challenging, and overwhelming. But this medicine is here, this virus. All that's going on in the world is here because it is the perfect storm to move us on the spiritual path if we can allow and accept it to do so. We must allow our pride and our ego to dissolve so that the Atma can shine. I'd rather be a hero. I'd like to take all the answers I have for the world out of my pocket, share them, have all of you comply with them, and turn the world around. But I'm pretty sure that that would not release my ego. In fact, I'm pretty sure my ego would expand. And I also see that when, instead of pointing my finger at someone and saying, I wish they had their mask on, or they had their mask on correctly, I could respond with compassion. I don't know why they don't choose to wear a mask to protect themselves and others. But I know that in this world, many people are suffering. And rather than judging their actions, if I can look at them with compassion and surrender my sarcasm and just love them, then not only do I offer healing to them, I feel better. I heal myself in that moment. If I can take a few minutes before I interact with someone, either going to the office, going to see a child and their family, going to some other appointment, if I can take a few minutes and focus upon seeing the divine within myself, I know that I will then be able to see the divine within the people that are around me. And something meaningful can happen during those exchanges when the divine within each of us is present. It takes a lot of practice. And I start out in the morning Is it there when I arrive home at 6 o'clock at night? Maybe, maybe not. But the more I set the intention, the more I take those minutes, no matter if I'm running late, to be in my heart, to see the divine within me, the more I can see the divine outside of me. Some days I think it makes me less productive and I get less stuff done. And other days I think, wow, I got a lot done. I don't know. I'm still monitoring this and seeing how it works. But I know if I continue through this time in humanity, judging the world and thinking that it should be different than it is, I'll just go crazy. You know, it's even not watching the news isn't enough because it creeps into my life in conversation. And when I meet with families and they complain about certain things about how school is, and their kids and masks and blah, 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 I have to change the dialogue. If somebody is sharing how they feel and how hard their life is, I can be helpful and listen. If they're complaining, it serves neither of us. We both end up more miserable. So to gently change the conversation to something that can be helpful. But the hardest part of that is changing this conversation, because even as I set my intention, I find my mind trying to solve all the problems of the world. Is that my job? God is the doer, not me. And so trying to recognize it, being the observer, stopping and saying, oh, you're going down that path that has no use. It somehow didn't make my list, but one of the things that I read is that if you're on a path with no obstacles, it probably doesn't lead anywhere. And as appealing as a beautiful path with no obstacles sounds, it does lead nowhere. And where do we want to go? And as we see this time in history as an opportunity, what is it for me to learn here and now? How am I reacting to what's going on in the world? Am I going into my heart, or am I focusing on the outside world? We all have to begin to look at this because COVID isn't going away. And where are we going to put our energy? If all of God's devotees were in one place at one time, the world would fall apart. The world needs each of us with our heart open and our devotion to God spread all over the planet to sustain it, to maintain it, and heal it. And we are, each of us, that light that the world needs now more than ever. So I've been looking at ways that I can bring back. What brings me back to center often is you, is community, is being with other people where I can comfortably and safely talk about my relationship with God, with my struggles, with my unfounded beliefs. And so that's what I had shut down Om chanting because of COVID. And I shut it down thinking, well, this will go away and we'll start soon. So a couple of weeks ago, spontaneously, I was at a friend's house. She had a few people over in her backyard for dinner. And I said, let's do Om chanting. And everyone said, yes, let's do Om chanting. And we spaced our chairs very far apart. And we did not project our voices. And I had a CD with someone else chanting, or not a CD, my phone with someone else chanting Om loudly. And we all chanted Om as well. But the chairs were spaced very carefully so that we were far apart. And we chanted in the backyard. And I said, I need this medicine. This grounds me, this centers me. And I'm having Om chanting in my backyard on Monday night, if anyone is interested. And everyone was there who was there. Some had never been to Om chanting before. I think there was 5 or 6 of us. Some of us had been missing Om chanting. But everyone had such a deep experience. And I got phone calls the next day about what people dreamed about. And how it changed everything in their mood and their focus. And I thought, yes, I have to do this. I need this. It's my medicine. So if you're interested in Om chanting Monday night, let me know and I'll give you all the information at 6:30 in my backyard. But that's what we all need to do, is look at what we need so that we can reflect the light of God's love into the world, so that we don't fall into depression, complaining, thinking it's our job to get everyone else to change. That's always worked, getting other people to change instead of ourselves. We've been given a tremendous, and I can't believe I'm saying it, but I really believe it today. We have been given this opportunity to see past the illusion of the world and find the beauty in it. And I think of that quote from the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna says, there is equal good and equal bad in every situation. It's where you put your focus. And for the first time, I thought, in this situation, the world situation, the politics of the world, the virus in the world, that I can see it from Krishna's point of view of seeing the good in the world in a way that I wasn't seeing it before. I didn't see how any good came out of COVID. I didn't see how any good could come out of the Trump administration or forest fires or all the other things that everybody has gone through. And why we're on the spiritual path, God tests us. Sometimes we pass and we move a little further on the spiritual path. Sometimes we don't pass and we develop the awareness of we're not as far along on this path as we thought we were, and we've got more work to do. But I can see, I'm beginning to see that there is good in everything. And it's not. And before, I thought it's where I put my focus. So I just have to avoid looking at COVID. I have to avoid looking at politics. I have to avoid this, that, and the other thing so that I can see the good in the world. But I think I missed the mark. I think even looking directly at COVID, I can begin to see the good in all of that. And so it is. So now, just take a moment to get comfortable. Take some deep breaths. Have your feet on the floor and your back straight. And allow your mind to drop down into your heart. Going into the silence. Going into the quiet. Going deeper and deeper into your heart center. See in that space an image of God that is dear to you. Just be present. Be in the presence of God. Feel the light, the warmth, and the love of the divine presence within you. Let all your worries and fears fall away. Relax completely into the presence of God. In the silence, no words are necessary. See your heart opening and expanding. See it shining so brightly that it extends through your bones and muscles, shining light to the world around you. Allow yourself to open your heart even a little bit further. There's so much light. That if an angel was standing above you, looking down, they would no longer see your body. They would only see light. The angel is seeing your true self. Your eternal self. This eternal light, it's not affected by COVID, forest fires, or air quality. Enjoy this moment as your truest self. And bring this true self with you wherever you go. Doing the dishes, walking the dog, spending time with others. For you are the light of the world. And with your light shining brightly, bring your awareness back to the room, your feet on the floor. Remembering that you are love and light. And so it is.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you for sharing your journey with such clarity and universality. Thank you. So we will have a piece of music from Teresa.
Well, I'm lonely and I'm tired and I'm giving up the fight in my head, and I'm grounded and I'm surrounded by the beauty I know I'll forget. So please this time, oh God, this time, oh, 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 oh. Well, I'm lonely and I'm happy, and I'm letting go of the things I regret. And I'm simple and I'm single, and yet I'm getting all that life has to give. So please this time, oh God, this time, oh, this time, please let me remember it. Now I'm driving through a valley with the Mississippi shining like glass, and I watch a baby spider spin his home between my window and my dash. And Jeff Buckley is on the radio showing me the way out of the past. Now I see you, and you're smiling, and you listen to the words that I say, and I'm happy 'cause I am surrounded by the beauty that is everything. So please this time, oh God, this time, oh God, this time, oh, this time, and oh, this time, please let me remember it.
Thank you, Teresa, for sharing your sacred gifts and your presence. At this time, let us go into a brief donation of love and light. We take a breath together, and each of us are so aware in this moment of this love and light within us, around us, and that we share. For a moment, if you know of someone in the world who's suffering, maybe just one person for this moment, bring that person's essence to your mind and heart, and allow a sharing of love and light, knowing they will accept or not accept. That's not our choice. Our choice is to give. We're so grateful to have this gift that we may share at any time with a simple decision. So it is. And we'll finish with one more piece of music from Teresa.
Hi. So I woke up this morning wanting to play this song. I haven't played it in a long time, so I hope I can remember it, but you can all sing along. You can unmute or you can just sing at home. You remember that I used to play this. I heard there was a secret chord David played and it pleased the Lord, but you don't really care for music, do you? It goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, and the major lift. The baffled king composes hallelujah. 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 Your faith was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof, her beauty in the moonlight overthrew you. She tied you to her kitchen chair, she broke your throat, she cut your hair, and from your lips she drew the hallelujah. 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 Baby, I've been here before. I've seen this place, I've walked this floor. You know, I used to live alone before I knew you. I'm afraid the word, shoot. When I moved in you and the holy dove was moving too, and every breath we drew was hallelujah. 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 Maybe there's a God above, but all I ever learned from love is how to shoot somebody who outdrew you. It's not a cry that you hear at night. It's not someone who's seen the light. It's a cold and it's a broken hallelujah. Hallelujah.